Have you ever thought of your black, your African children bringing up whites as future
Hey guys,
spouse?
welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing? It's so good to have you here today. If you are new here, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for clicking to watch. I hope you enjoyed this video enough to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell. Thanks. And yes, when you're done watching this, you should go check out other videos on this channel. All fun videos, all interesting, informative, inspiring.
Educative.
Yeah, guys, so hit the subscribe button and go check other content. If you are returning to Inspire, thanks for being here. You are much loved and appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today we are going to be talking parenting an African child in a Western world in the man's perspective. Yeah. So I have uploaded a video where I spoke about my perspective, my fears as a woman, and all that. But today we want to hear it from the man's perspective, and that is why I have brought my husband here today. I'm so happy that we've been able to get him to do this with us. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Do you want to introduce yourself?
All right, I am Joshua. Happy to see you all, and thank you for subscribing. If you are new, like she said, do good to click on the subscribe button.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so like I said earlier, we'll be talking about parenting from the man's perspective. And yes, one of the fears about coming to Canada is parenting. And sometimes I've even heard messages, church messages, like pastors saying that all of you that want to japa, Nigerian pastors actually saying all of you that want to japa, talking about trying to instill fear into their members, like it is difficult to raise children and all that. And yes, recently we were talking about how schools are putting their foot down to say these are some of the things they will allow in their schools and all that, because Catholic school, there's an expectation and all that. So it is a bit difficult, like from a woman's perspective. Actually, we've said that it is a bit difficult to raise children in this western part of the world. So as a man, as the father, what do you think? Do you think coming from Nigeria and being here, do you think there's a difference in how children are raised?
Okay, except we want to deceive ourselves, it is extremely difficult if one is not on the Lord's side in raising children in this land. Okay, for instance, it is not that I am a wicked person or a wicked father. While in Nigeria, at least once a month, my kids will get punished for wrongdoing, serious punishment. But here, you cannot just beat anyhow. Or maybe let me say you cannot beat your kids, because by chance, if they should tell their friends in school, their friends who by mistake tell their own parents, and those reporting to police that so family is beating their children. And if there is an evidence against you that you are actually beating, your child will be withdrawn from
Support
you.
the law. Your child will be taken.
Even to the extent of the food you put in their food flags. If it is not a balanced diet, your child will be withdrawn from you. Let alone you are beating your child. And to some parents, to some extent, the child will have a mark on his or her body. So it is actually difficult here in Nigeria. Teachers, even to some public school, uses cane. Even some private school, at times they discipline, kneel down on the assembly. But here in the Western world, to all those ways of cautioning the excesses of little kids are not there. So what I have, okay, like the first 3 months we came, I remembered I had to sit my son down, that with what you are doing, do you want to go back to Nigeria? Do you want to go back to your former school? And he said no. Then I told him, if you don't want to go back, you must listen to what I tell you to do.
So, talking about beating and all that, for me, I think it's like that's positive, right? Because I think, for me, I think it's
we just had to learn other ways of
Punishment.
disciplining a child apart from beating. And beating, at the end of the day, if we look at beating, really, beating is not why a child will be good or bad.
But yeah.
So for
We
me, I
might not
think
rule out beating totally, because the Bible says spare the rod and spoil the child. So beating might not.
But rod
We
may not be
can. Rod may
necessarily
not be the
one parent.
tonistic. Rod can be punishment in any form. Maybe your child loves swimming, or is involved in one sport or the other, or loves one particular activity, but because you want to instill discipline, you will make that child not to go for that particular activity. Or if your child has a tab or has a particular cartoon story or she follows on the TV, you can lock the TV, and for that time ask the child to sit down and just be doing nothing. Because if you say the time you are punishing, the child should be reading, we are deceiving ourselves. So you can just ask the child to sit down and do nothing, and you yourself, you sit down with the child doing nothing.
Be bored.
So if the child is bored, to some extent he or she will want to adjust.
Something I've noticed is, and this is sometimes while having discussions with my colleagues at work and all that, I hear things like there's something to be done and the father was not telling the kids to do it. And
Done like what?
okay, so for example, maybe there are dishes to be done,
Okay.
and the father is not telling, for example, maybe the boy child to go do the dishes. And it kind of sounds like it is expected that it is the father that should raise the son.
No.
What is your thought about
that?
this? Because
That would be bringing some mentality into the issue. It is not, to me, it's my opinion, it is not right for the woman to fold her arms and wait on the father, that it is the father that will raise the son, it is the mother that will raise the girl. That will be wrong. Okay, like the proverb of Yorubas that says, the child that is good is for the father, the child that is bad is for the woman. But that is wrong. The child or the children bears the father's name. So if they are saying, oh, a particular son A, oh, that's his father, or that's his parents, the shame goes to the parents, not even to the father alone. If the child is successful, if the child is successful, the glory comes to the parents. Both parents will be able to say, oh, I'm proud of my son, I'm proud of my daughter. But if it is the otherwise, which parents will be able to say their son is a thief or their son is a criminal? No parents will be able to say that. So raising children, okay, let me ask a question now. So the boy did something wrong while the father probably traveled for one reason or the other. So the mother will wait till the father comes back before meting out the punishment.
That was the vibe I got from those conversations, those comments. I got that vibe that even if there's something wrong that the child has done, they want to wait for the father. If it's a son, if it's
well, in my own opinion, it is not right for if the girl now has done something wrong, the father should fold his arm and say, let our mother come and discipline her. No.
So in other words,
both parents are one. They have equal role to be able to accept issues that pertains to female body, that the mother alone should be able to look after.
But even that, what if it's a single father, right?
Okay, if it's a
his
single
wife died
father
and he has to take care of his girl child, for example.
Yes, to some extent, the man also will have experience in dealing with that. So there should be no shifting of who to correct to the other party. That is what I'm saying. Both parties should be able to correct the children, not that a particular sex will correct same sex.
Same-sex training.
No, that is not good enough.
Okay, I think we spoke about this when I'm not sure whether the video have gone up or if it will go up after this. When we spoke about marriage and all that, and we spoke about community. Do you think the community too has a role to play in raising a child as a man? Because yeah, for women we might feel like I think the way we see raising children to an extent differs a little bit from, because when we are talking about raising children for women, sometimes we look as far as the appearance of the child and all that. I think for men sometimes it doesn't really matter to them how the child for some men, right, how the child appears, as long as the child is well behaved and all that. But for the woman, I think it is like all those things come to play. So that's why I'm saying from the perspective of a man.
Okay,
So
so
community in raising a child.
from
And wait,
okay.
how do we ask if it's important to have a community? What kind of community, or how do we get those communities?
Okay, so for like where I was coming from, uh in Yoruba they do say Omo yi Omo gbogbo wa ni. Then I remember that when a child does wrong and the child is disciplined from outside, the mother in particular will go, if it is affirmed that the child really wants that discipline, the mother will go and appreciate that person that disciplined the child, because that child is seen as our own, not their own. That is the role of the community.
And here in
And the
Canada,
same thing, if a child has done wrong, or maybe now in the olden days in Nigeria, maybe somebody stole and they have to walk the person in the neighborhood that this person stole in another neighborhood. It will be the shame of the family of that particular child and the shame of that community also, because there is a bad sin that is being painted on that community. So if the child is doing good, it is also to the praise of the community. So with that, the community also has a role to play in raising up good and godly children. So comparing that with the Western world, I pray the Lord will help us.
amen.
In this kind of environment, we need to be able to know who our children are associating with. We cannot just say we are not allowed to discipline them, we are not allowed to beat them, we are not allowed to punish them. All these things they are doing, they see it from somewhere. So if we don't curb it on time, it will be difficult to correct them when they are mature. So we must be able to help them in shaping the kinds of friends they go out with. Are they unruly friends? Are they rude friends that they are moving with? We see some kids some kids misbehaving here and there. As good parents, we should not allow our kids to associate with such. Though we may not be able to maintain our stand, but citing example, giving instances will help our children in making their own choice of friends too.
And I also think, to an extent, I think we have just we have somehow, I don't know where the mentality or with the information came from, but I think we have somehow painted the Western world in a bad light. Because I
Well,
don't
I
think
will
that
agree with that.
they
That is because of the information that was relayed to us.
I don't know
But
who
here
related that
is
information. Because
social
I
media,
don't believe
internet.
totally.
Now we are here and we have seen it ourselves that it is not totally true. In my house, the door is locked. I can ask my son, do this, and he will do. I can discipline him in so many ways. Maybe their sleeping time is 8 o'clock p.m., 8 o'clock in the evening, and because he has done something wrong, I will ask him to go to his bed maybe an hour early or 2 hours early. Him doing nothing. with that, he himself will feel bad because he's not free to do what he wants to do even in the house.
So I think the government, I don't know, the schools, they are not like, so they are not saying don't discipline your child. They're not saying don't
Yeah,
raise up, because at the end of the day, if you raise up children that are not disciplined, it becomes a liability on the
on
government.
government too.
And this was reinforced to me when they sent home recently. They sent home like a form. Yeah, and this I picked this from, when you were saying we should watch who our kids work with and all
Work
that.
with, play with.
Recently they sent a form from the school saying, asking the parent, or maybe it's the parents or the child, to, yeah, but I helped my children because they still need that guidance, right? They should fill that form. They should list the names of 5 people they would like to be in the next class with. Though they said it that, okay, so this might not be like, they can, it's possible they don't have all those
Enough
5
spaces, yeah.
in the
In
same
the same
class with
class,
them, but at least they
but at
should
least you
mention
should
5,
guide
at
them.
least 2 or 3. They will have 2 or 3. And this is like saying that they want to have people
Birds of
that
the same
birds of
feather
the same feather.
going
Who are your
together.
friends? And that is why we need to know the friends of our children. So when they are filling those forms, for example, this person, no, this person that you used to say this about and all that. No, I don't want you to be in the same class with. So the government is not saying don't discipline your child. They're just saying don't maltreat your
Your
child.
child, yeah.
And sometimes when you look at the way Africans
Discipline.
discipline
It is
children,
abuse.
sometimes it's
Sometimes
abuse.
it is child abuse.
Sometimes it's abuse, because we've heard news of parents that beat their children to death
Yeah, to
because
death
of
or
10
to land
naira,
in the
because of 100,
hospital
some,
because of change
because of
or because
some
of errand coming late.
ridiculous things. So I think what the government is frowning against is child abuse. Don't beat your child, in anger, like
Yeah.
without restraint and all that. So it is wrong to say the government is saying you cannot
Do not
discipline your child.
punish.
If you don't discipline your child, the child ends up becoming a liability on
Liability
the
to
government.
you
So they
and the
want you to
government.
discipline. They want you to raise
Somebody that
reasonable,
will be useful
yeah,
for the
useful
family,
children,
community, and the
disciplined
government at
children,
large.
right? It's just, don't be abusive about training your child.
Yeah.
Don't go extreme, don't go overboard, right? And I think, yes, that's something I've realized since I got here. Before we got here, you cannot beat your child, though. You cannot, yeah, and they don't just say you cannot beat your child. They say you cannot discipline your child. It is difficult to raise a child because of the mentality of the wrong information we've gotten, that they don't want you to discipline your child. Yeah, and like we said earlier, there are different ways of disciplining a child. It doesn't necessarily. I can't remember the last time I beat.
Yeah, that was what I said at the beginning, that in Nigeria, at least a month, somebody will do something wrong
If
that I
it's a
have to
month,
beat.
me is like every
But
3 days.
maybe every week kids.
And I think it's a good thing. It's a good one, because yes, it doesn't mean we are not disciplining them. It just means we have found other ways, other reasonable ways of raising our children. And I think, yes, that's a good one. One other question. This will be the final question. Is do you have have you ever thought of your your African children bringing up whites as future spouses? Has it ever crossed your mind?
Well, I would say it has not crossed my mind.
That's crossed my mind, though.
But when we get to that bridge, we will cross
it. It has not crossed your mind.
it. It has not. Okay, maybe if let me say, if it has crossed my mind, it has not bothered me. It has not put
like
me under unnecessary prayer.
No, it's not
because
like it's actually
there are
bothered me,
godly
right? White people.
there are godly people everywhere. So if the child has been trained in the way of the Lord, there is no way God will allow his own to be misled by emotions. So bottom line is, when we get to that bridge with prayer, God will definitely see us through.
You see why we had to get the man's perspective. Me, I've thought about it, and it's not like it bothered me, right? So it's not like I felt, what's the word? It's not like I was sad or I was anxious about it. I was just wondering how, like,
what if
what if it happens? What will it be like and all that? Okay, so you've not thought about it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. And yes, like you said, there are godly people everywhere. So even if it's a white person,
if it is the will of God.
as long as God is in it, then it's not a biggie, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys. Until we see in the next one. This is where we say we are closing the curtain on parenting talk with the man's perspective. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, hit the like button. If you have not subscribed up to this point or you have watched to this point, hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell. Please share this video, share on your WhatsApp status, share to as many places as you can, and leave your thoughts about this video in the comment section. You want to say bye bye?
All right. Thank you, everyone. Stay blessed as you watch
Stay
and also
blessed.
as you subscribe.
Thank you.
Bye
All right,
bye.
guys. Bye.